again, thanking the newly elect. We have a way of life that's reflected in our treaty, in our constitution, and we have territory that's directly linked to our sovereignty and our jurisdiction. On behalf of the council, it's very promising that all of our newly elect mention that, and then working with all of the current councilmen this past 2 years, they too share that feeling, that belief, and have an understanding that we have a way of life that's passed on through families and family values. So, expressing to the General Council that we have a very good council, we have a good team, and we're ready to work for the people. And with that, we'll move to the last item on our agenda. We've asked Judge Cordoza if she could fill in for chair for the voting of officers. And I believe that council operations is going to help with the balloting. Sure. Teresa, we need a piece of paper.
Everybody get a paper and pen? Alright, is everyone ready for the nomination of the chairman? The floor for nominations.
I can nominate Tim Blue.
In blue? Any other nominations?
I'll nominate Shasta.
Shasta?
Yes.
Move to close nominations.
Any other nominations before the move to close?
Nominations are closed for chairman.
We will now
Vote for chairman.
Tim Blue. Shasta. Tim Blue. Shasta. Tim. Shasta. Tim. Shasta. Tim Blue. Tim. Tim.
Congratulations.
Mr. Chairman, Tim Baloo. We will now open the floor for nominations for Vice Chairman.
I nominate Cliff Colby.
Cliff Colty.
Nominate Shasta.
Shasta.
Nomination closed.
Any other nominations?
Nominations before closing. Nominations are closed.
Cliff. 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 Shasta. 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 Cliff. And Cliff.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice Chair, Cliff Colty. We will now open the floor for Treasurer.
I nominate Darrell Hilaire.
Darrell Hilaire. Any other nominations before closing? Nominations are now closed. Congratulations, Mr. Sorry? Congratulations, Mr. Treasurer, Darrell Hilaire. We will now open the floor for Secretary.
Nominate Jay Julius.
Jay Julius.
Yes.
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Move to close.
Any other nominations before closing? So closed.
Jay. Cheryl. Jay. Cheryl. Jay. 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 Cheryl. Jay. And Cheryl.
Congratulations, Mr. Secretary. Jeremiah Julius. Congratulations to you all.
Asiav and Astralacha, Sweets and Ohilik, Quinnis, Snacks. I'm truly humbled to represent the tribe as a council person, even more so to represent as the chair. I've enjoyed working with the past council this year, alongside all those others who traveled with me to represent the tribe, locally, regionally, and nationally. I've also enjoyed working with this council, not only on acquiring new territory that we already claimed, but also working with the council on bringing it to trust status and within our jurisdiction. And I really appreciate all those who helped us do that, especially our elders, our past leaders who have set the vision and telling us that that's a priority. I look forward with working with the current council on protecting our resources, our seafood, our natural resources, and our most precious resource, our children and our elders. Because it's from our children that we're borrowing from. And we must make sure that our way of life is always there for them. I congratulate Cliff, Daryl, and Jay to your officer positions. For all those two that put their name in the hat for an officer position, my hand goes out to you. And for the work that I was able to contribute with to this last year, I thank my wife, Leanne. I thank my two sons, Timothy and Candy. I thank my grandma, Ernestine. And I thank all those that help all of our council people here at the table. And to all those that came out to witness the work, our hands go out to you. ACN.
CEM and Stella CM, Haishka, Tia Kaias. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight, witnessing the work, all the support that you've shown the council and the previous council. I want to recognize our leaders, all of our leaders from the youngest to the oldest for all the work that they have done, laying the foundation. And we're here to continue that work. I've learned a lot over the past 4 years as a council person. I know that we have a lot of work to do, and I know how important communication is, and transparency, and keeping us 11 informed and working together. We won't always agree all of the time. Not one of us knows all of the answers, but together we'll find the best answer. And it's important for all of us to remember who we work for. We work for the General Council. And we have lots of resources. We can do a lot of good if we put them in the right areas. We're a growing tribe, largest fishing tribe on the West Coast. We're regaining some of our territories, our land. The decisions that we're going to make in the near future, our next generations are depending on us to do that work. Make the right decisions, the best decisions. We know everything's important. Natural resources, our land, sovereignty, jurisdiction, healthcare, our elders, our ancestors. I can go on and on from all the things that I've learned from each and every one of you. I want to thank Candace for her leadership. that's done. And I also wish Merle was here. I probably could do his speech for him, but I don't think Merle wants to. But it's a pleasure to sit next to Merle. One thing that I always admired about him was he always had a win-win agreement. You know, he always made sure that all those priorities were addressed. That's one thing I always remember. You know, sat right next to him for quite a few years, and win-win agreement. Always wanted to see the Silver Reef Casino grow, bring in more revenues to the tribe so it can help the community. And he talked about the care, you know, the ones that Josie and that you guys do. Thank you for that. That was always near and dear to his heart as he talked about, you know, his late father, carrying on to that work. Leroy, I want to thank him also for the work that he's done. And natural resources is a big department to keep an eye on, to work. Got all those environmental conditions to work with, and so many processes that are involved now. They just keep adding more and more processes. All the tribes try to stall. Limited resources. We have to make some really tough decisions on setting the course on how we're going to help the community, help the children, help the parents, help with education, health. We really have to define some areas in the healthcare system. I want to thank Bernie, Cheryl, everyone, Henry, for all that work that you guys have been doing. Thank Daryl for his leadership as a treasurer. Wanting to do a 2-year budget. I know some of that work was done previously with Cheryl, but we do need to do that because that's the only way that we're going to be able to save money. We have to make sure that we do a 2-year budget and stick to it. Make sure that all of the issues are being addressed. Save money for jobs. Jobs are huge. It's a big need here. Workforce development. I'm hoping that, I know that we're going to bring that back to this table, address those. We need opportunities for our tribal members for jobs, education, vocational training. So I don't want to take up a whole lot of time, but I just want to thank each and every one of you. Thanking all the council members and my wife, Cindy. Thank you. Thank you for all your support. Always the one that's kicking me in the butt. Get going, get moving, get up there and start running. Hiking, do all kinds of things. We should be out there enjoying the weather and fighting diabetes and prevention. We need to define prevention. What does that mean? It's going to need allocation. It's going to need resources to it. You know, we don't think as in terms, we just want to meet the needs and spread that around. We need to get away from that dollar sign and just what are the needs and address those issues. Thank you.
Yes.
Siam, nostalgia Siam. I love these times where we get together and celebrate a little bit, celebrate our history. I love these times that we can come here and get inspired by some good words of gratitude for those that are getting off. I think for me personally, and I hope we hear that more often, when we talk about gratitude and we talk about being inspired, that we take the time to reflect as leaders in our own way, in our own families, in our own work, in our own job, on these strong steps that we're taking and those steps that we're following. For me, I wish Merle was here. I told Merle throughout the year that I really admired this body of work that he's had for his entire time here, from the time he joined Lummi Indian School of Agriculture to now. And all those things that he's accomplished for, not him, but for our people. And I can't help but think about his father when I think about Merle. His father was like my step-grandfather, George Bergsman, was like Aunt Sarah James. They'd cruise around the res and they'd go 10 miles an hour, and we were always in a hurry, going 50 miles an hour, and you get behind him, you know. And I got behind Ernie one day and he pulled over. He said, "I voted for you." So he told me what to do about the wellness of our people way back when. And now we work for the people. I missed it. I miss Richard Borbus. His kindness and his honesty, his hard work. It staggers me to think about what he did for our people. He never sat here. And I miss my Aunt Jean. We take a look around in times like this. Where is she? Well, she's inside of us. We carry on. Much like Shasta's great-grandfather is inside of us from when he took care of us at the setting sun camp. Julie's great-grandmother, remember her now, you know. You reflect. That's where our strength comes from. It's not because we got any smarter or we got more popular. It's that. We come back to that. My father's 90 years old now, and he's there reflecting on Buddy Washington and Victor Jones and Felix Solomon. And we've got to take the time when we walk down these hallways and look at those pictures and say, well, that's who they are. They brought us here. And it wasn't because they were rich or they had education, but they had that undaunting will, that endless faith in us as a people. That's the very basis of our strength, is the belief in all of us as a people. And if we believe that, and it's an easy thing to forgive, us as a people, because we have work to do. We're hardworking people. We're determined people. We're forgiving people. If we take the time to reflect, that's how we got here. That's how our elders and our ancestors got us to this place. There's no excuse now for us to make what we've decided we're going to do, make it happen. Because we're going to do those things. Money is a means to an end. This government is a means to an end. The most important thing is our families. I think that's what they had in mind when they said they were working for the people. So I wish Merle was here, Leroy, Candy. Thank them. I know their grandparents, those that have gone before them, reflect on that, draw strength from that, and don't ever forget. Ashka. Ashka. I want to thank Leroy, Merle, Candy, their wives, husband. It is time consuming. And I heard all the old ones say, and even the newly elected, one term in, prepare yourself. Hope you enjoyed your time with your wife and kids. Because it truly does, even when you're home, it consumes you, this leadership, this elected position. And I thought I could put it to rest once I walked into my door. It's not true. It's nearly impossible. But I wanted to, Daryl and I must be related, because I wanted to thank the elders, and I wanted to go back in time. And Willie, when things are said, when stuff's talked about the college, Smitty, Ernestine, you know, I really want to thank the elders because I grew up with Vernon and Nancy. Felix and Dora were my great-grandparents. Beulah Jefferson, my grandmother on my father's side, Haynes Julius. But then I go a step further and a step further and a step further. Really what drives me is, maybe it was listening to Vernon and all the visitors, or just all these conversations being around the old ones. And, you know, my mom's here and Fred's here. They probably thought I never ever listened. How can you not? But it sticks there. And I learned from that with my kids now. I make it a point to always share with them, talk with them, share with them, and bring them around when I'm around different people, always with me. Try to have them with me all the time, experiencing things, fishing like I did with my grandfather. But I take it back a step further. Who was Thomas Jefferson? Signed the treaty on my father's side. Who was he to me? What was he thinking about when he signed that treaty? When we did, what about those promises? You can't help but be taken back and think about the horrific times when in 1856, a year later, I heard this when I was a little tiny kid, and I wasn't part of the conversation, but I heard the conversation going on at my Grandpa Vernon's house. Imagine the horror of your canoes shackled together and your way of life for thousands and thousands of years instantaneously gone. 1 year after the signing of the treaty, and you're shackled together and you're taken to this place we now call home, this reservation. And Daryl keeps bringing up foreign lines. When they get your land, what is it they're going to want? After they took all your land, they're going to want more land. So I reflect on what happened, even after the treaty was signed and when we got this reservation. And where are the true boundaries of the reservation? At George Cage's service, they talked about his passion, and he wanted everyone to understand that this isn't the boundaries of the reservation. They're actually much bigger. It goes up to Cherry Point, George believed. It goes into Bellingham, it goes into Custer, it goes up to Thunder. And that's what was on my heart, is to really thank the elders for what you've done to get us to where we are today. You know, the glory goes to you, but even before you, you just continue the work of your old ones, the ones before you who aren't here. It's a never-ending battle, and as I think about the old ones, I think about, they weren't out picking wars. They were all warriors, but they weren't out picking fights. We've always been defending our rights, defending our sovereignty, defending the water, the air, the land, our ancestors, our sacred lands.
It's always been a constant battle to defend our rights and protecting our future generations, 7 generations down the road. And that's what they did. I thought I was the 7th generation of the treaty, but my daughter is actually the 7th generation. My son, they're here today. And that's who they were thinking about in 1855. So, thank you, council. I'm honored. I'm truly honored. I know great things are going to come. And great things have come, like Candy and Leroy and everyone shared about the past successes in the last year. The Boys and Girls Club, the Youth Wellness Center, a dream since 1978 for Lummi Nation, is happening. The Care Center, the OTP, just numerous things, transitional living. But I'm honored to serve here, to serve with this council. And I look forward to a great year to serve our people, to defend our lands, defend our rights, and do as our old ones did, and not compromise our future generations' rights, our borrowed rights, like Tim said. I believe that. And I thank you guys for believing in us and voting and encouraging others to get out and vote. I should